Okay, start out. Last night obviously disappointed. Didn't feel like we missed an opportunity. And when you look at it this morning after watching the film, just obviously the two penalties were huge, and got two touchdowns called back. We also had some penalties that stalled some drives too, which sometimes goes unnoticed. And I think that's something that we got to really improve on. And when you play good football teams, I think Louisville's a good team, and that stuff shows up and hurts you more. Maybe the week before that stuff didn't hurt us near as much. But I loved our effort. I thought our guys played extremely hard. We got off to a great start. Everything felt great. Just as the game went, we kind of went into a lull, and some of it was self-inflicted, I thought, after looking at the film. We got to improve in those areas in our execution and really just do a better job of executing what we're trying to do. We got to play better. We got to coach better. I mean, it's a team game, for that reason. So obviously disappointed, but the one thing I know is our guys will respond. We got everything in front of us still to play and to play for and improve. So we'll get started on that today, and just kind of looking forward to getting our guys over here this afternoon and really digging into the film and trying to show them where we need to improve. Questions?
How's John Rice seeing the field in terms of receivers and where to go with the ball? Is that just still a learning process for him?
I don't think so. I think he's got comfort. I mean, losing O'Keefe obviously in the second half. I mean, he's one of our better ones for sure. And then Kobe not being available. So I thought John Rice played a lot better than probably it looked. When you look at it, grade the film, and see, okay, what decision do you make? We got to play better around him in a lot of areas, and there's some things he's got to do better as well. But it takes 11 guys to really do the right thing consistently for you to be a good offense. And right now, we're not doing that every single play in critical situations. Sometimes we are, and it shows up. But we have to be more consistent doing that. Put the ball in jeopardy a couple times that did not get intercepted, which didn't like that, and we got to do a better job with that. But overall, it wasn't his best game, but by far he's not the reason we lost the game for sure.
Johnny Richardson averaged more than 9 yards per carry. Had 5 carries. What do you, as an offense, need to do to get the ball into his hands more?
Yeah, we had some really good game plan things for him. Certain looks we were getting in certain formations were very specific, and actually worked out perfect for him. Again, the long one that he had that got called back was, Johnny's good. Everybody's got a certain skill set that they're good at, Bowser included, whatever position you're talking about. So trying to create more of those opportunities, and when you're punting the football or stalling out because of execution, then you lose a lot of those opportunities. So we got to do a better job staying on the field, to be honest with you, and just give them more opportunities from that standpoint.
With Kobe unavailable last night and O'Keefe leaving at halftime, what level of concern do you have at the depth of wide receiver, and who specifically do you need to step up to fill some of those voids?
Yeah, I think when you lose two guys like that, and you're trying to figure out ways, obviously I thought Javon was playing well, extremely hard, and all that. But you got some guys that have to step up, and Xavier, obviously being a freshman, he's been thrown into the fire pretty quick, and he's been pretty good. But obviously he's not as experienced as some of these other guys. Steve Martin filled in his role pretty good, and then obviously I think Jalen Griffin, we got to do a better job getting him up to speed. He's kind of our swing guy. He's been learning a couple different positions, so that's sometimes based on injury or availability. So if we can get all that stuff settled, I think he'll be more effective when we can kind of put him in a spot and let him get comfortable.
Chip, you've had 2 games now to kind of grade John Rice. What are some of the things that he's done well? What are some of the things that you think he really does need to improve on?
I think obviously when the play breaks down, he does a great job of keeping the play alive. I think the one scramble to his right, he threw it to Javon might have been a 3rd down actually, was really good. Not a lot of guys can make that play. I think for him, it's continuing to play and get more reps in game situations, and see the different things you're going to see each and every play. I think he's doing a good job protecting the ball. Last night in the pocket, there was a couple throws where they kind of fooled him, and he threw it into coverage. They didn't catch it, but those are some things we always want to improve. For him, I just think obviously the level that you play against compared to the week before, he's got to continue to take that next step. Best thing about him is he's really hard on himself and works really hard. I think you'll see him improve as the season goes, and you know, at the end of the day, we got to play better around him. You know, it's a team game, and quarterbacks, the old saying is really true. They get more credit than they deserve. The week before, he got a lot more credit than probably he deserved, and this week he'll get more blame than he deserves. But that really doesn't matter. That's just kind of outside noise to us. But because, you know, when you do this a long time, my 26 coaches like 30-something years, and you sit there and watch the film and you understand what's supposed to happen and why it didn't happen. You know, it's just like if we give up a sack, everybody assumes it's the O-line. Sometimes it might be the running back. Sometimes it might be the guy the quarterback's responsible for. You know, the average person probably doesn't know that. So I think John Rice is doing great. We just got to continue to push the envelope and get him to each and every week take that step forward against better competition.
Coach, with the running back rotation, is it strictly predicated on a game plan, or is it more like a game flow? How do those carries kind of shake out? Do you kind of see who has the hot hand?
I think a hot hand has something to do with it. Tim does a good job trying to keep those guys rested. Obviously, Johnny and Bowser are different skill set kind of guys, so some of it's dictated probably on the game situation. But you know, obviously both of those guys, we need to continue to find ways to get them the touches they need. But to do that, we have to stay on the field. And what do we have, 7 straight possessions where we, is that right, something like that, where we punted or turned it over, and we didn't stay on the field. And when you do that, it limits the number of snaps you get, which in turn limits the number each carry each guy gets.
What deficiencies do you see in the offensive line, and what can you do about it if this is your personnel group?
Well, I think you know, I would say the best thing we have to do is communicate better. You know, every play you run, whether it's a run play or a pass play, there's some communication involved from the quarterback's perspective or even up front to each other. I think those are some things that we need to improve on. And a couple of times, to be honest with you, we just got kind of edged and beat a little bit. It wasn't like they didn't know what to do. It's like we got to do it better. You know, we got to execute that better. Whether it's hey, we're sliding this way and we don't want to overslide, or whether it's hat placement in a run game or the right footwork. I mean, each play's got its own life, so to speak. So just you know, at the same time, continuing to rep those things. One thing I know is you know, we had an opportunity to win the game last night, and if we had won the game, you know, those problems would still be there. You know, those are things we have to get where we want to get to. We have to continue to improve and clean up those things. That's what we're going to do.
Kamori Gamble, how would you assess his first 2 games? I mean, he didn't play as much last night. Was that just, you know, game plan, or other guys maybe blocking better? Or?
Yeah, I think you know, some of the sets we were in, Alec is so solid and played so much in this offense and doing the specific things. I think there is a comfort level for that. Kamori has certain packages that he plays in. That position for us does a lot of things. Plays in the box, plays hand on the ground, plays flexed out. And then you throw in each and every play, the different elements with it. There is a learning process going on there. I do think he's making progress and doing great, but we got to figure out better ways to get him involved for sure.
Chip, your frustration with having 2 touchdowns basically wiped off the board because of penalties. How can you guys eliminate those, and what do you do like going into this next week?
Well, you know, we've always, and ever since I've been with Coach, and I learned this from him from the first time, we've really tried to do a great job in practice of teaching them what a penalty is. You know, obviously we have referees at practice, and then on the film, you know, we punish those guys for penalties in practice. So, you know, a couple of them last night, I mean, sometimes they're called, sometimes they're not. You could probably call holding on every play if you wanted to, just to be honest about it. But, you know, those guys made the decision that they made those calls and they affected the play. But, you know, I think just continuing to educate them on them, and, you know, both of those penalties, you know, technically by the rule, probably penalties, but there's some others that were not called as well. So just bad time on our part, but we got to do better. We got to play clean football.
Gus mentioned that they played a lot of 0 last night, and they were willing to bring the house. Is that a trend that you expect to see continued with your opponents in future weeks, and is the only remedy consistently throwing the football down the field and with accuracy?
I don't think that's the only remedy, but I think we're going to have to do a better job. And, you know, obviously being down a couple guys affected that some, but we have to do a better job of hurting people to keep them from doing that. Obviously with John Rice and his skill set, you're going to see that. And, you know, football's a copycat deal. You watch each week what's going well and what people are doing to stop people, or what people are doing to score points, and you want to try to find your ways that you can do that inside of your offense or defense. So I'm pretty sure that we'll see more of that as the season goes. And, you know, we need to be prepared for it. We obviously talked through it and had thoughts we had for it. Again, we didn't execute that, and that's something we got to really push.
And Coach, could you just take us through those last couple of drives where you guys failed to convert? What do you like out there? What didn't you like?
What was that
The
again?
last few drives where you guys failed to convert any points the last 5 minutes of the game. What do you like out there? What didn't you like?
Let's see, the last, you know what, such a blur. Okay, so the last drive where was that the fourth down? Help me out here. Fourth down, we threw in the end zone. Yeah. So I thought, Coach, we had a good call. You know, John Rice made a play. Jalen Griffin almost came down with it. That's the one I remember. They played zone there out of the huddle. So you know, JR made a play. Our backside receiver probably wasn't exactly where he should have been, and we had a really good shot to hit that play and maybe win the game there. Jalen made a great effort, but I thought that was a good drive. We got down in scoring position and just, like I said, didn't execute, get in. Then the last drive, you're in 2 minutes, and you know, we get to a fourth down, and you know, JR made a pretty good throw, and it would have been a tough catch, but you know, there's also opportunities maybe he could have took off running there and really converted 4th and 5, I think. But you know, I think again, we had opportunities to win the game, and we just didn't get it done, and that's on us. And we got to, like I said, we got to coach better, we got to play better, and we will.
Coach, we saw Alec getting a few opportunities in the receiving game last night. Can you talk about that critical moment when he was wide open, kind of in the red zone, and we missed all that? Did that hurt a little bit?
Oh yeah, I think, did we miss the field goal there? I think, is that the right?
Oh, it was.
Yeah. So yeah, it's huge, man. Another call we felt really good about all week, on a little naked to the field, and you know, John Rice couldn't quite get his feet set to make that throw, and then throwing the guy in his face, and you know, again, that was a huge point. You know, you love to see him try to get his feet set a little quicker and get that out, but at the same time he had pressure. So you know, I think that's the thing. I said it already. We have to execute at all 11 positions, and we didn't do that there, and so that's something definitely we need to improve on.
How do you achieve your goals of a championship season if your starting quarterback is sort of learning on the fly week to week?
Well, you just get him to improve each week. There's quarterbacks, I think, around the country that are in the same position that, you know, our job is to try to make him improve each week and hey, execute what he's good at and how we can make that happen. Each and every week's a different story, so to speak. You got to plan, have a good plan, which I liked what we did, and early on it was a really good plan. Just I think as the game went on, you know, there were some opportunities that we just didn't execute, and if we do that, don't get the penalties, I think we're feeling a little different right now.
What did he do better week to week?
I think the pocket presence was good. I thought he escaped and made plays, especially on 3rd down, which was huge. We had the throw to Javon. He took off running another time on a 3rd down. You know, when you look at it, there was a handful of mistakes, but you know, not anything that really stood out. I think again, you get too much blame, too much credit is where all that really stands.
Chip, at any point, I asked us this last night, at any point was there thought maybe even just getting maybe Mikey out there for a series just to kind of give John a little maybe chance to watch what's going on? And when is there a time to maybe bring it back up, maybe to kind of just give a start?
You know, I think those are just things that you make decisions based on your gut feeling. You know, when you feel like you're leading the game like we were, or in the game, or one score, what were we 3 points down most of the time in the second half, but leading the game at halftime, I don't think that ever crosses your mind, really. I mean, John Rice is our quarterback, and we'll just keep getting better.
Maybe a little bit early for this, but next week, Florida Atlantic, do you know much about their defense and the challenge they present?
No, I don't. I know they got a good staff. I know Willie Taggart pretty well, and you know, I'm sure they'll be well prepared. They're playing today, I guess, so I hadn't looked at them yet.
Were you were going to go down there and coach?
We had some talks about that for sure, yeah. But you know, the opportunity to come here just kind of trump that, so to speak. I just felt good about getting back with Coach. I'd worked with him before, and a couple of these guys on staff, so just kind of made that decision.
Last one here.
Coach, is Mikey King QB2, and are there any packages in place for Tommy to maybe see the field? I know last week we kind of saw him a little bit towards the end of that game. What did that quarterback rotation look like?
Yeah, we had a big lead last week, so he came in and got us out of it. Yeah, Mikey is our number 2 for sure. All right, thanks.
Thank you.